Well, hello. If it isn't the beautiful, the one and only Miss Alishia Sparks. How you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful.
Good.
Wonderful. I feel honored that you here. And you in the hot seat.
I welcome it. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So normally, like when I do interviews and I talk to people, I try to figure out a word that best describe them.
Oh.
So I looked you up, and I was just trying to figure out a word that could describe who you are.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go back into it, but the word that I really like is actually your name, Alishia.
Okay.
So, and I don't know if you knew this, but Alishia is actually German,
Okay.
and it's associated with noble and exalted. Excuse me.
That sounds about right.
You know
I
that?
think that's me.
Yeah, and
I love that.
and noble is in the former times it's high rank at birth.
Okay.
And it means like royalty, king or queen, for those who don't know that. And exalted is held in a high regard. So just with your name alone, you just you number one, you a whole medal over
I have
there.
to embody that, right? I'm
Yeah.
here for it. Thank you.
So then I started digging in further, and just your name alone, and it means that you're also a perfect 10, like you a dime.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Did you know that?
I didn't know that. But I'll take it.
That's what the name Alishia means.
Wow.
Yeah. It was saying like awesome, incredible. You have an aura like when you walk in a room, and I guess I can kind of attest to that because I've seen you on different occasions, and especially you and your husband.
Mm-hmm.
And when y'all walk in places, it's like an aura, y'all just light the room up.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
I wanted to share that with you. So hopefully now you can really tell, you can talk that talk and walk that walk.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's raw. Nobody's ever said that to me. I've gotten quite a few different definitions of my name over the time, all the way down to biblical, but I've never got that. And that's pretty dope.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you.
No problem. I thank your name, or you thank your parents, your
Thanks, Mom.
grandparents.
Thanks, Dad. Hey, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So you were born in Warren,
Yeah.
Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How was that growing up?
Whew. It was great actually. Being from a place like Warren, Ohio has its perks because it's very humbling. It forces you to understand and know what true community is about, and knowing your neighbor, and it being such a tight-knit place where people are just doing everything they can to survive, and it makes them thrive. So I believe that I received that from being from there, having that having that background has definitely helped me to be very humble to people, to be very understanding of all different walks of life, and it has also shown me what it's like to come from the bottom and really work your way up. There are so many people that are within my age class and that are a little bit older that I have really watched come from Warren and be known globally. So I'm very proud to be from there. It is a very small place that you can't even find on the maps, next to Youngstown, for those of you who don't know. But I love being from Warren because I feel like a great part of who I am is rooted there.
It's a small town. It's not as big as Cleveland.
Oh my God. Let's see. Warren is probably the size of downtown to EC.
Okay. Were you active growing up? I see you dance. I kind of get into that later. Were you always dancing growing up?
Yes, I was very very active. My parents made sure that I was in every extracurricular activity you could possibly do. So I started dance when I was 2. I danced all the way up through college. I went to the number 3 dance school in the nation for dance. That's been the forefront of my life when it comes to being active, and also being in the church, being in the choir. gymnastics, swimming, band. I was a majorette, I was a cheerleader. Like anything you could think of, I probably did. Probably did.
That's what's up. And doing all those activities, it keep you out of trouble, and it teach you like work ethic too, and just being balanced. Yeah.
Yes.
Did you like work growing up? Did you have a job?
No, my parents won't let me work. They wouldn't allow me to work until my sophomore year in college, and that was because I begged them. I went to school in Pittsburgh, and I was like, once I left Warren, that was it. Like, I did that. I'm done here. So once I started living on my own in Pittsburgh, well, you know, through the assistance from my parents, I was like, I'm not going back there. So I'm gonna get a job, and I'm gonna figure this out.
So your parents, they was pretty strict growing up.
Yeah. My father was pretty laid back. My father was a mortician, but he also was an entrepreneur, and he had his hands in a lot of different things. So I feel like I get my entrepreneurial spirit from him. And my mother worked at GM in the factory, but I lived a very middle class life. My parents made sure I didn't want for anything or need for anything, but I also knew the value of what I received.
Okay. So speaking of growing up, I see you have a nickname, Pooh. Like Winnie the Pooh, or what is?
Nobody in Cleveland knows that. I'm being punked right now. Yes, that is my nickname. My mother named me that from day one, and I really feel like everyone that I know calls me Pooh because they can't say Alishia, and they don't want to insult me, and they try so hard and never get it right. So my nickname is Pooh, and anybody that really knows me knows my nickname is Pooh.
I feel like I really know you. So
nobody in Cleveland knows that. It took forever for my husband to even find that out. Like, so if anybody goes up to him and they're like, "Hey, I know you, Pooh's husband," he'd be like, "Oh, you know her." That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So okay, so you left your parents' house in 2004, and that's when you moved to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And you went to Pittsburgh for college.
Yeah.
You went to Ohio. Not that yet. You worked. Hold on. Your college. You went to a liberal arts college, and the name of the school was
Starts with a P.
I wrote all that down.
It's named after
Point Park University.
There you go.
Yeah, Point Park University. I'm sorry. And you graduated in 2008.
Yeah.
Okay. And while you were in school, that's when you started working, and you worked for Mac.
Correct.
Okay, cool. So, and you did that till 2008?
So I actually started working for Mac like this summer. So we'll say like 2006. 2006, 2007 is really when I started working for Mac. And I worked there for 5 years as a product specialist.
Okay. And working for Mac, that's when you learned your trade, and you was a trainer, that was your understudy, it was artist, and then you was also a product specialist as well? Okay.
Yes.
Somebody did their homework.
You fact checking. I'm here for it.
Did their homework.
Got it. That's exactly how it was.
Yeah. So and then and doing Mac, you learned a lot. So now your artistry is in micro shade eyebrows, eyelash extensions, full makeup slay all the way.
Yeah.
You do bridal, and then you are also a master educator as well.
Yes. Right.
Okay, that's what's up. So you lived in Pittsburgh till about
2009, I think, is when. Let me see. So I left Pittsburgh shortly after my firstborn was born. And I'd have to say that was probably around 2009. That's when I left Pittsburgh.
Okay. How was the experience when you was in Pittsburgh? Because by your Cause my parents were strict too, so I know how that is. And then you left and you went away, so it's like they couldn't just.
So I'm gonna peel back a layer for you. So come on, my jacket. I'm probably very greasy, but whatever. So I'm gonna peel a layer for you. Was raised Pentecostal, and my mother has 9 siblings. Of those 9 siblings, I want to say like 3 are pastors and 3 are pastors' wives. One is a bishop's wife. So I come from that background, but with my mother and all of my aunts, shall I say, they were very laid back. Like, they were very, very devoted to Christ. They were very devoted to the church, but they were cool. Like, they were very balanced. So I lived a very balanced lifestyle. My parents, definitely made sure that I knew, what was right and what was wrong. They were very, very strict on me and gave me very little time to play and do anything. But I had 2 older cousins that played football. And at the time, I went to Warren G. Harding, which is where Sparks-Gullatt went to school at. So we were all in school at the same time. And my cousins played with Sparks-Gullatt. So they were older than me. So probably halfway through my high school career, they went to college. And when they went to college, I went to college. So anytime a family member or a group of families were going up to see any of my cousins who went to Michigan or Michigan State, I went with them. And that was when I got to learn and experience what a real kicker was like. Like, oh, this is how we party. Got it. So I kind of like got developed along the way. So by the time I hit Pittsburgh, I was so accustomed to what college life was like. I was so accustomed to what partying at that age was like, within moderation, that it actually sucked because Pittsburgh is a very conservative town. And at that time, back around 2004, they were going through like a renaissance downtown. They were cleaning out all the urban clubs. So it wasn't like there was a whole lot that you could do. So I would continue to go and kick it with my cousins in Michigan and Michigan State. And when they went off to an NFL, I went to go kick it with them in NFL. So it was like, at the time, Pittsburgh was great, but it was rebuilding. And for anyone that was in the age, 18 to 21, there was nothing for you to do besides college parties. And they were like frat parties. And they weren't fun frat parties. So I left. To answer your question.
So when you moved back home, like, how was the experience? Like, did you move back home
to Warren?
Yeah.
So in that time frame, I met my child's father, which is Gary Russell. Gary Russell used to be a running back for the Steelers, and I lived a lot of life in a small period of time with Gary, and it made me wake up and grow up super, super fast. So between, the ages of 23 and 25 is when I decided to head on back to Warren. But I had lived in California. I had been everywhere and lived everywhere in such a small period of time. And the only reason why I went back to Warren was because it was time for me to regroup and rebuild and start what I have now. I wanted to cut all ties with my ex-fiance, which was my child's father. And I decided that I was going to go back home to where it all started for me and regroup, rebuild, and make something of myself.
So I noticed after that period, you went back into dance, 2012, Ohio dance.
Yes.
And I see you had a certificate there too, so that was a major accomplishment. And then going from there, you started hosting parties and stuff like that. A lot of events. You work with a group called the Academy.
I did. I worked with quite a few different groups, but in Ohio, at that time, I felt like I touched just about everybody that was doing anything. And then I feel like Cleveland was the only place I really wasn't. I was everywhere else but Cleveland. I was in Pittsburgh. I was everywhere else but here. And it wasn't until I met Ryan Wolf that Cleveland came on my radar.
Is that how you met him? Was it through like the entertainment?
Just through social media. I actually reached out to him.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I know, right? I reached out to him and I said, I see you're up and coming. I see you've got a lot going for yourself, and I see that you have your hands touching a lot of different people. I said, and I think it would be dope if you knew who I was. And I was like, second of all, if you know anybody that needs to utilize my type of services as far as hosting and whatever it may be, I'm your girl. You need to get familiar. And he was like, oh, well, let's talk about it. So we got on the phone, and it was like history from there on.
Oh wow. So you made the first move.
It was me.
Wow. How do you feel about that? Like as far as like when it comes to women and men, like well, I can't ask you because you did it.
I did, so. But I didn't do it. It was like God. It was like divine intervention. Like I never reached out to him on BS. You know what I mean? Like I was just like a sharpshooter straight to it, and I was really talking about business. And I was like, I'm trying to get my name out in Cleveland. Like you seem like the right guy to know. And it was like perfect. And we got on the phone, and then that's when we realized we were both in the same place, kind of at the same time, mentally, and everything just kind of sank together.
Was this around like 2014, 2013, around that time? Okay.
Yeah, I'd say, about 2014. I want to say that's about right.
Okay, so going into like 2015, you had a up and down. It was like a roller coaster like type of year, and it was kind of like one of your best years too. So, and I kind of revert that back into your name, and I'm gonna go back into like what I really think your name like represent at the end of this interview.
Okay.
But 2015, you got in a car accident. Yeah, it was a hit and run. How was that for you?
It was interesting because I was actually in the passenger side, and my mother was the one that was driving. And I forget what happened. I think my car was in the shop, or I was getting an oil change or something. So I was at a client's house, and I had her come and get me. And as we were leaving, it was like, we were in traffic, so I don't even know how we got hit, but we got hit from the back, and the guy reversed and like took off. And so I'm like yelling at my mom, like, take out them, go out them, I need to see that license plate. And she like, girl, bye. Like, we're gonna sit here, wait for the paramedics, we're gonna call the police, and we're gonna let them go on. But I got his license plate, so it was cool. But that whole year it was like that. It was rocky. It was real rocky.
Yeah, you got in a car accident, and then you started working at Hair Groupie the same year. And then Ryan, you guys started picking up a little speed around that time as well.
I only came here because of him. I was actually on my way out to California. I was getting ready to move back out to California. I had a job working for a performing arts academy, and at the time, my business mentor was Joe Flip Wilson, who is Lady Gaga and Beyonce's musical director. So I had a great connection with him, and outside of that, I had got connected with this academy. So it was like I had the opportunity to go back to California and really like hone in on my craft and do what I knew how to do on the highest level. And so I got this job, like I'm making plans on how I'm gonna do everything. And Ryan was like, what? And I'm like, I'm about to move. We can make this work. Just have to see each other like once a month. And he's like, that's not going to work for me. And I'm like, why not? Like, if we dated long distance for a year, like for a whole year straight here. So I'm like, if we did that, we could do that. And he's like, no, that's not going to work for me. So I'm going to just need you to come to Cleveland. And I was like,
that's dope. Yeah, a lot of times that's how it is. Cause once you left and you went to college, you met these your crowd, and you start building all these different connections, and it's like you up, and then it's like, all right, dang, I gotta go back home, and it's like you gotta start over and build that crowd, you know. So, and I felt like around that time you was kind of trying to find yourself again, and then you met Ryan, you know, and then that's and now you guys are a power couple, and I just think that's so beautiful.
Thank you. It's been a journey. I would have to say I went 3 years without dating anyone before I met Ryan. And prior to that, I had just went through such a tumultuous relationship with my child's father. And that kind of, it built some grit in me. It made me so that I wasn't so passive about a lot of things. And it made me understand and know what I wanted for myself in life, and what I was willing to take and what I was not willing to take. And so I vowed to myself I was going to stay single. And I actually really had no interest in getting married after that. And I was like, I'm going to just build this empire that's like uncrushable. Like, I can't be defeated. And I'm going to do it the right way. I'm going to do it a positive way. I'm going to do it the organic way. And it just so happens that when I met Ryan, Ryan felt the exact same way about life and the same way about attacking goals and like getting even and feeling complete by accomplishing something major. And I was like, oh, we might have something in common here. Yeah,
that's what's up. Yeah, I just think that's beautiful. I like your confidence, and you just got this mentality that whatever you go through, it doesn't matter. You're still gonna prevail. I got that same mentality, and people be like, "Who is this?"
Right.
You know, so I definitely respect it, and I applaud it as well. I want to go back to the hair groupie. Like, when you started working there, did you build like a lot of connections and things?
I did. I definitely did, but the most connections that I had from hair groupie was the people I was working with. I met some really talented and amazing, wide variety of personalities in that salon, but I feel like I met a piece of Cleveland in each one of them, and for me to not be from here, that was everything to me. And so from each one of them, it was like I got to spread out and learn Cleveland, and Cleveland learn me, and it'd be such a wonderful and dope vibe. Like, it was the hair groupie studio was great to me because that was my first entry here into Cleveland, and the owner Chaz was the first person who was willing to take a gamble on me, and I was like, you don't even know me, but you will.
And so working there, did you do any like major clients at around that time? Because I noticed you got a list of great people you work with, such as Danity Kane, Missy Elliott, Takara, Jessica Rabbit, and then you also you done fashion shows for Ed Hardy and NFL Steelers breast cancer.
They're and that was before I was even affiliated with the Steelers. They have an annual breast cancer awareness fashion show, and it like collects money and it goes to various charities, and this like one of the big events. Who's Who, Pittsburgh. So I got contracted for that. That was dope. That was like a glimpse on the inside before I was on the inside.
And you also you led a team for Fashion Week, New York Fashion Week, 19 people. How was that?
It was an experience. Thank you, Alana. That was an experience. It was very hectic. It was very intense. The recruitment process was very intense. Being there was very intense. I loved every minute of it, and the very second that I found out I had that opportunity, I wanted to bust that door wide open and let other people from the Midwest be able to get that experience, because being from the Midwest, being from Ohio, being from, one of the most ducked and tucked off places in the United States, you don't get those opportunities. So I was very excited to go, but I was even more excited and thrilled to bring people with me for the experience. And the experience was what it was. It was dope. It was amazing for those that got what they needed out of it.
It was a lot of personalities at that time. 19 people was a lot. I've thrown fashion shows, and that's one of the hardest things that you could ever do.
It's hard. And getting all of those personalities to work well within each other in a very intense environment, an intense, demanding situation, it's hard, but I knew I was built for it, so I gladly took it on, and I brought my best friend with me, and she did the same thing for her team.
That's what's up. You also were on the news too, on Channel 3. How did you feel about that?
It was dope. My homegirl, I love her to death. She's one of the lead anchors there. Her name is Jasmine Monroe. And I was pregnant at that time, and she wanted me to come. She called me like news moves so fast. Called me like 2 hours before, and she's like, I need you to get her to do this segment. And I'm like, what? I look crazy! Like I do right now. And she was like, just pull it together, get down there. We're going to do a segment on the holidays. And she was like, we're going to talk about this, we're going to talk about that, but just mostly talk about makeup, trends, da-da-da-da-da. You have 30 seconds, go. And I'm like, oh, okay, got it. So that was cool. It was a wonderful experience. And I'm very grateful and very glad for that. And I love Jasmine.
Do you think by you leaving Warren and then going to Pittsburgh, and then even coming to Cleveland, because I'm sure it was a huge transition. It's almost like going to a Catholic school and then you going to like a public school.
Yep. I did that, by the way.
You did?
So I know that's exactly what it was like. It was like that.
Do you feel like that helped you, like being in situations of leading a team with 19 people and being pregnant, and you get a call from the news and they saying you got to be there,
Yeah,
do you think how did that experience help you?
The experience, God makes no mistakes, and everything that I have experienced in life has been just another stepping stone to break through another ceiling, another barrier. So everything that I have encountered, all the people that I've encountered, all of my life have been pieces to each stepping stone, and I try to learn and grab something from each person and each experience and put it in my body and digest it, and just, what did we get from that? What did we learn from that? And how do we make sure that we progress from any of that? Being from Warren, going and dealing with people on the West Coast, dealing with people internationally, it helps tremendously, because then you know people. And then you know how to deal with people. When people aren't getting along, you know how to pull people together. You know how to rally people together for a cause. You know how to get people in order to do what you need them to do. So, yeah, that helps me tremendously, because I know people.
That's what's up. Yeah, so one thing I did want to talk about is how you brand yourself. I don't know, I've never met you before, but by me doing all this research, I'm like, dang, she sound like my twin. But you put your name in everything. Get Sparked, Sparkle and Shine, Team Sparked, the Sparkly Movement, Sparked Up, Get Sparked, baby. Spark D Enterprise, Spark Mac Takeover.
Let's talk about that, because everybody does that. Okay, listen, everybody, listen. Sparked. So capital D. Everybody wants to say Spark D. It's just Get Sparked. But I didn't want to put SPARKED, because then it thinks get sparked, get sparked up, which is not what we're doing here. So I took it upon myself to take the brand a step further and use my last name, and instead of keeping it Sparks, which is my actual government name, his last name is Sparks, I made it Sparked, Get Sparked. So it's SPARKD, but it's Get Sparked. That's it. You don't even have to say Get Sparked D. Everybody wants to say that. That's not it.
And speaking of your last name, at the beginning of the interview, I was trying to figure out a word that best described you. Right. And I looked up your name, Alishia, and then I was gonna look up your last name, and then I actually looked up Spark.
Okay.
And spark is actually what starts a fire.
Right.
So I think that's the best word that can really describe you, and that's your name. Because your first name means royalty. It means exalted. It means you a 10, you a dime, and I'm sure that's true because you got your husband, you know, and I'm sure he loves you very dearly. And I think that's dope, like, because I always tell people my biggest fear is losing my spark. Because if you don't have your spark, how can you create a fire? What is your biggest fear?
My biggest fear right now in this stage of my 34-year-old life is not being what I know God has called me to be. That is my biggest fear. Like, not being the mother I'm supposed to be, or not being the wife I'm supposed to be, or holding my tongue and not speaking to people when I should be, or being a vessel and letting God work through me. I know my purpose in life is dealing with people. So I try to keep those communication lines open. My biggest fear is to be misunderstood and not do what I'm supposed to do, or me not have the clarity on what I'm supposed to do. I think that's my biggest fear. It's just that. Other than that, I trust God, so I don't have any real fears outside.
Okay. I wanted to go and so 2017 is when you were when you got married. How did you feel when he popped the question?
What question? Listen here. When I got engaged, okay, it was very, very simple. My husband is, contrary to how he acts, he's very simple. He's very simple at heart. It was a conversation. It was not, would you marry me? Like, it was never that. It was Ryan being weird and looking me in my face and then looking away. And I'm like, what's wrong? And he's like, did you mean what you said when you said that you could see us being married? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, you want to get married? And I was like, yeah, like, let's do it. I'm with it. I'm tired of being doing this by myself. Like, yeah, I'm with it. I feel like we're equally yoked. And that was that. And the next day, I thought he was, like, really pulling my leg, like, for real. The next morning, he woke up, like, 9 o'clock, like, all right, let's go get this ring. And I was like, oh, he meant that. And my nails look crazy, but all right. And we went to the jeweler, and I picked out my ring, and that's how we got engaged. It was a conversation. So he gamed you then, just like how you gamed him at the beginning. Okay, sucky now. That's the dynamic of our relationship. It's very like okay, I did that. Okay, now you do that. Now it's very like it's never boring.
Yeah, and I like that. Like, you know, just watching you guys dress up. You wear costumes. Y'all the life of the party, and y'all mesh. You know, and did you ever see yourself like finding someone, and I don't want to call it a fairy tale because it's not over yet.
Right. But
did you see yourself being?
I never saw this. Even down to our child, like, he had a son, I had a son, and we were totally fine with merging our families together and that being that. But having Xavier has even been like I had no intentions on having any more children, no intentions on being serious and getting married. My plan was just to become a billionaire, and whatever happens. But I never foresaw this. I never even felt this. It was so organic as it just all happened. Everything was just a flow. You know, it was never a force. It was never this isn't that and that. It was just always so comfortable, and that's how I knew that this was real, because it was never a force. I never saw this coming, and it's really nice to be chasing billions with a billionaire mindset, which is him. It's nice.
So what is it when you're having a bad day, what is it that he gives you to make you smile?
Anything. Ryan, if Alicia's having a bad day, Ryan's having a bad day, and that's just that. He cannot stand to see me. Even like Ryan is the guy who wants to solve all the problems. He's the Libra. Everything has to balance out. So if he feels like there's a problem you're having and you're not sharing it with him, or if you're having an issue and you just like he can't stand it. He cannot stand me not being happy. So he'll be like, well, what's up? Like, what do we need to do? Who do we need to call? What do you need? What do you want from me? Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? What do we need to do? That's just, I got it.
That's what's up. What do you see yourself in the next, your next phase? What is Alishia Sparks 2.0?
She's developing now. I would say I have a different outlook on life, especially after this whole pandemic. It's been a long time since I had a chance to stop everything and really analyze what's going on and to just live life without restrictions. And when you're an entrepreneur, you put those restrictions and barriers on yourself. So to be able to sit back and step away from those barriers and restructure how things are at this point, now I'm restructuring my life around family, around time, around what's important. Alishia 2.0 is still the same businesswoman with a different direction. Still very much so into dance and everything aesthetic, beauty, still very much so in creative directing. Those three heads are there, but now I'm just ready to take it up a notch and open the umbrella a little bit more. So that's, I guess, Alishia 2.0 is a billionaire. She's on her way.
And you've been independent since 2008, about 2008, so it's going on 13 years now. I've been independent for two years, going on 3 now.
Okay.
What did like your family like say like when you just told them like I'm gonna work for myself and that's what I'm gonna do?
I've always been a wild card, so it's like, of course you are. Like, this is who you are, you know. Like my family has always known me to be very independent thinking, so it's not a surprise. And like I said before, my father was a sheriff, deputy sheriff. My father, was a pilot. My father did so many different things, like in a major way. So that fire that I can do 5 different things at one time and still be amazing is inside of me. And my mother is extremely creative. Like I've never met anybody as creative as her in my life. Nowhere. So to have both of those come together and merge is like me.
They created Alishia.
They created me.
That's what's up.
I'm just different.
Different is good. If it's gonna be a little girl who sees this and she's 23 years old and she been independent, but it's just she don't know if it's working for her, and she feel like I want to give up. And because what I learned about your story is no matter the obstacles that you went through, or maybe having a baby, or leaving here and going to this state or this city, or having to rebrand yourself, you always stay on course. What would you tell that person?
I would tell her or them, there's a such thing as a figure 8. Okay, so you have your downs, you have your ups, and you have your in-betweens. And what you have to do in order to be a good business person, to be business savvy, is to know how to weather all of it. You have to know how to maneuver and keep pushing. As long as you're putting one foot in front of the other and you're still building and still moving, you feel like you're not going anywhere for a long period of time. But really, you're moving forward slowly. You just don't see it. So you have to know when to weather the storm, when it's time to rebrand, when it's time to, sharpen your talents or your skills, when to make sure that you're marketing. Like, there's a time and a place for everything, and it doesn't all just happen at once. It's not like the Big Bang. Like, it's not going to happen. You have to meet people. You have to learn from people. You have to understand, this is the nature of the business that I'm in. You have to know it upside down, on top, around, and that takes a good 5 to 8 years. It's not something that just, I'm great and I'm awesome. No, it takes time. So, to that person that is going through that, or trying to, see if this is even for you, the analogy I like to put is throw it all on the wall, and whatever sticks is what's for you. I know for me, my problem is I've been blessed with so many talents over the years. It's hard to hone in on exactly what 1 or 2 or 3 you want to focus your energy on. And I've learned that even when you have that at the table, and there's so many different things you can do well, you have to hone in on each individual one the same amount of time and space. You have to balance it all out so that you can be great in heading all of it at once. And again, all of that, it takes time.
Okay.
So take your time.
Do you have like a famous quote, or is it like a search? Do you read books or anything that help you?
I do. I read books. It's been a while. I too, like you, I love to write. I stopped writing. I wrote from the time I was little till about 20. And then I stopped. And then I didn't write again until recently. And recently I've been like reformulating what exactly I have been through. I have experienced domestic violence. I have experienced so many different things, and a lot of times trying to translate that can be difficult, especially at a younger age. So I just found a way to be a tyrant and say nothing's going to pull me down or keep me back through my talents, through my crafts, through my gifts. So, even if it's your gifts that, that you have, going back on what you just asked me, and you're relying on your gifts that have been given to you, learn how to utilize your gifts to go with your business if you're trying to make money off of them. It'd be great.
So by you having so many talents, being able to dance and do makeup and write and design, and you probably can rap too, or you can sing, and probably your biggest talent is people, being able to talk, and that's how you found the man of your dreams.
Yeah.
So what would you say is your favorite talent?
My favorite talent or my favorite gift?
You can do both.
Okay. My favorite talent is dance. Easily. It's like, I'll be 90 and I'll still be dancing. Like, hands down. There's no way I should be this age and still be this flexible. Like, I just know it's what God wanted for me, is this talent. That dance is it. My gift is being able to sense what people need in their moment of need and being able to give it to them. That's my biggest gift.
So you got superhero powers.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a touch. I do. I have that gift. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but it's just. And the older I get, the more I'm like, yeah, that's there. Okay. Just being able to know what somebody needs and nourish them and give them that. I have that. I guess that's my gift.
Okay. We wrapping up now. Do you have any projects that you're working on? And then also want to ask you, by us having a pandemic and things were slow and everybody was in the house, like did that affect you, or were you able to transition?
It did affect me because, again, it changed everything. It changed our way of life. It changed everything. But for me, it changed things for the better. Again, it made me rethink, like fall back from the madness for a second and let's just make things the way you want them to be. It was more so that. So pandemic was great for me business wise. As soon as everything was back open, it was like I was flooded. Like, whoa, everybody wants to be out the house and everybody wants to be great. Like, where are we going to look pretty? I don't know, and I don't care. I'm here for it. So that was that. And did I answer both questions?
Well, I'm gonna stay on this question. Did you transition, like, because you're hands-on, like, you're direct, but did you do, like, as far as like transitioning, maybe going like digital or maybe doing like classes and stuff like that?
Yeah, I did do that. I did go digital. I did offer a lot of tutorials, one-on-ones, digital for like makeup, and then I don't know, as soon as everything opened back up, I was right back, within precaution and keeping everything clean, sanitized, and safe. And I've also, within that transition, I haven't been taking new clients. I've only stuck with my loyals, like my repeated loyal clientele, because I know who they are, I know what they do, I know who they're around, and I feel safe and comfortable with having them as clients. So that has been a transition because I usually meet a whole lot of new people all the time. So I've kind of been like, hold it over in that aspect.
Okay. Yeah, I was asking you, do you have any like up and coming projects coming up?
That's what it was. Yes, I have a collaboration with Wolfie White Gel Polish that's coming up. So keep an eye out for that. And I'm also collaborating with Judge Dawson. We're gonna be bringing a new yoga flow situation. He's doing the yoga, I'm doing the stretching. That will be digital at first, and then will be, after so many classes, switching to studio. So I do have that coming up as well. And what else do I have? I think that's really it for right now for what I can talk about.
Where can the people reach you at? And are you an open book? Like, if anybody that you may inspire, could they reach out to you? Or are you like bougie?
Absolutely. No. I'm one of the most down to earth people you'll ever.
I know you went bougie with us. You reached right back.
Very, very. I'm open. I'm an open book because I want somebody to be able to live a better life through me and through what they've experienced through me. So I'm like, whatever you want to know, ask. I don't hold anything back. So yeah, reach out to me. I'm on Instagram. My name is my name. So it's Alishia, ALISHIA _ Sparks, SPARKS _ Gullatt, GULLATT. My makeup brand page is at Sparked Makeup Artistry. And you can find that in my personal bio. And on my Facebook, but I'm not really on Facebook. I'm just there because I have to be. And yeah, that's it for social media. You can also reach out to me via email at my name as well, Alishia Sparks Booking, BOOKING @gmail.com.
And I'm gonna put all your links at the bottom of this video, so
cool. Some
people don't know how to spell. They can just click it or tick it.
And that's a lot. That's a lot to write out as well. So I understand.
All you gotta do is just type SPARK and all her stuff gonna pop up. So she the brand queen, for sure. Anything else you want to leave the people, like in some inspiring words? Yes.
So to go piggyback on something that I am working on that I didn't mention, I am working on something called Alishia Speaks. So Alishia Speaks is basically my lead way to starting public speaking. So for those of you who do need, to reach out and touch and ask questions and things of that nature, I am going to start speaking, and I'm going to have a purpose and a mission behind it. And I'm also going to be launching a book soon. So yeah, reach out to me, follow, stay in tune so you can get what I'm saying.
And then we're gonna have to bring you back on, like once you release the book and everything. We could do another one.
Yeah.
So yeah, help you sell some. I could sell Kool-Aid in the middle of Lake Erie.
Let's go. I like that. I'm here for it. Yep.
So this now you in the hot seat. So you want to do public speaking. So now I want to hear 1 minute of you. You know, just you wowing the people. You know, just giving them some words of encouragement.
Okay.
Right now.
Well, if I was speaking on a podium with no words or structure, what I would probably say is you have to live your life for today, and you have to live your life for now. There is no procrastinating. There is no, I have these dreams in my head. It's about getting it on paper. It's about getting it out loud. It's about seeing it working. It's about making it move for you. So whatever that may be for you, and I'm praying that it's something positive, that you get what it takes for you to get up and do it. If ever there was a time to feel inspired and to feel energy and to feel motivated to get things going and get things happening for yourself, it's now. It's post-pandemic. It's, you know, when the world is in this molding place, it's in this restructured position where we're trying to figure out what the new normal is. While you're trying to figure out what the new normal is, you better be trying to get yourself rooted in the ground to make sure that you have something that is substantial for yourself, so that in 5 years, in 10 years, you are still rooted with other people that are around you, with your children, with your family members and friends also being rooted as well. Set yourself as an example. Today is the time to do that now.
That was great, but I'm just laughing because it's like when you get serious, your posture switch up, spinal cord and perfect, and then like when you just
this is parochial school.
Yeah, you just
this is public school.
Depend on the question. Like it's a time and a place for everything. So I like that. That's dope.
Yes.
So we appreciate you for having you on our show.
Thank you for having me.
Looking forward to the future.
I will definitely come back and I will make sure that I look like something next time. I'm on my way to the gym, so I'm about to go get it in. But next time I'm gonna look like the businesswoman I'm talking about.
See the thing is, it's not what's on you, it's what's in you.
Yeah, absolutely. 1000%. Sometimes, you know, you like to make it look the part as well. But I'm comfortable either way, so I'll be back.
Yep. So there you have it. Speak up, baby. Peace.
Bye.
Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell if you enjoyed this video.